The first type of factor we're going to look at is if there is a number in front of x squared. Okay, we know this is a trinomial.
Yeah.
So because there's three terms, 1, 2, 3. The first thing you want to look for, the three terms exactly. And the very first thing you want to look for is if the three terms have a greatest common factor. So if all three terms can be divided by something, the same number. Okay, so do they have
2 goes into both of them?
Right.
So you put 2 down in the bracket, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I kind of remember, yeah.
Good. So I know that this term, the first term is divisible by 2, the second term is divisible by 2, and the third term is divisible by 2. So when you're writing this in factored form, you're showing the same thing as a product. Yep. So because it can be divided by 2, we can multiply the answer by 2. Okay, so you're taking this out. But because it's being divided by 2, the answer, when we expand this after, you'll see that you'll get the exact same thing when you multiply it by 2. So in factored form, it's going to be 2 times something. Well, what did we do? What happened when we divided by 2? What were we left with?
Nothing.
We're left with...
Oh, there's the 2 at the top there.
This cancels out. Yeah, x squared. And then...
Does that become 1x squared? Or?
Yeah, you can put a 1 there, but you don't have to. So just because it cancels out, it's 1. And then we have negative, don't forget the sign, negative 14 divided by 2 is, because it's a negative divided by a positive. Good.
A negative.
Yeah. And it's going to be negative 7x, because we have the x here.
Oh, the variable.
Then we have negative 16 divided by positive 2. So again, a negative divided by a positive.
Sorry about my calculator.
Oh, it's okay, you can use that one. Well, negative divided by a positive.
Is a negative?
Good. And it's going to be negative 8. The first thing we did was see if it has a greatest common factor, which it did. Now we have in factored form 2 times x squared minus 7x minus 8. These two things represent the exact same thing. If we were to go back and expand this, we would get back to the original question. But we're not done because we still have a trinomial. There's still 3 terms here, and this can still be factored. Okay, so this is the second type of factoring. So let me just, we took out the greatest common factor, and we're left with a trinomial still in brackets. This can still be factored. This is a trinomial in the form x squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so whenever there's just a 1 in front of the x squared, when there's a number that's just a 1, not anything else, we do a specific type of factoring.
The b is multiplication and the
right.
c is adding, or is it?
Yeah, doing is we're looking for, and sometimes I like to make a little chart on the side. We're looking for 2 things, 2 numbers that multiply together to give us c, which let's color code this. In this case, our c is negative 8. Okay, so 2 things that multiply to give us negative 8, but they have to add up to b. So they have to add up to this, which is, in this case, negative 7, okay? So first you're going to list all the factors. Yeah, well, you want to use the sign. Because b is negative, it has to add up to negative 7, sorry. Oh, okay. And you want, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to list factors, 2 things that multiply together to give us negative 8. So what are factors of 8? What times what is 8?
1 times 8.
Okay, but we need to make it negative 8. So we can put 1 positive and 1 negative, right?
Yeah.
Or we can have negative 1 and positive 8, right?
Yeah.
Because a negative times a positive will give us, it has to be a negative 8. What about 2?
2 times 2, 4, 6, 8. 2 times 4.
Good. And again, we can have a positive and a negative, or a negative and a positive. And then, are there any more factors? No? This is I like doing the chart because it's an easy way to figure it out. So are there any more factors? Anything else you can multiply to give us 8 or negative 8? We finished with our factors. These are all the factors of negative 8. Now we're going to figure out what do these 2 factors add up to. So what's 1 plus negative 8?
Negative 7?
Yeah.
I like numbers.
Okay, let's just double check. Like, let's just keep going. What's negative 1 plus 8? It's going to be positive 7. Excellent. Then we have positive 2 plus negative 4. So it's going to be...
Negative 2.
Yeah, good. And then negative 2 plus 4. 2? Exactly. Well, what we were trying to find is we were trying to find which factors added up to negative 7? Which one was it?
It was positive 1 and negative 8.
Good. Now that we figure out the two factors, yeah. Oh.
I don't know what you're doing.
So now that we have the two factors, these are the two factors of this, okay? So we still have this 2, and we're going to write this trinomial in factored form. So again, factored form is a product. Something times something will give us back to the original question. Well, what times what gives you x squared?
2 times...
So we have how many x's to get x squared?
I need another x?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay, so x times x is x squared. Yeah. And now that you did all this work over here, well, we know one of the factors is plus 1.
Yeah.
And the other one's
negative
8.
I like it.
And this is factored form.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.